Why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron?
You done messed up, Aaron!
Aaron's right here, everyone. Thanks for joining me on this glorious, beautiful Friday evening. Hope you guys are ready for the weekend. Man, I told you guys in the live stream I was doing with Reese today that I had like 4 or 5 other videos that I wanted to do this evening. And I'll probably get this one done and one additional one done. Guys, hundreds of you have messaged me about Louis Rossman's Scientology video that he did yesterday. And I'm definitely going to comment on that in the next video. Today's video has to do with Scientology's most successful recruiting tactic. The title of this video is Scientology's new recruiting tactic. And I titled the video that because of an email that I received. This was the 26th. Okay, so it's close to a week ago. Here's what the email says. This is from a viewer named Ross. And he says, this video popped up on my LinkedIn feed this morning, shared by thousands of people, including mental health charities. I almost fell off my chair at the 1 minute, 28 second mark and was horrified by what came after. Is this some new underground tactic by the Office of Special Affairs, Scientology's Office of Special Affairs, or OSA? Is this some new underground tactic by OSA to get the teachings of Scientology out there? Or is this just some bizarre coincidence? And then he sent me a link to the video in question. And so I'm going to share with you guys that video. This is like a 3-minute video. And okay, let me get my stuff in order here. Instead of giving this a whole bunch of a preamble, I'm just going to show this to you. This video has almost 2 million views. And that's why I thought this is worth discussing, because this is a video from one of Scientology's successful business consulting front groups. And this business consulting is the Scientology's most successful recruiting tool. And I want you guys to see how it works. So check this out. Look at the SP being so mean to that PTS. Ta-da! Okay, so you're like, Aaron, wow. I mean, other than the fact that that video used some Scientology terminology, what are we supposed to be taking away from this? This video, I think, is a perfect example of how very common sense, but very basic common sense things that, well, I would call them Scientology principles, but just because L. Ron Hubbard said them doesn't make them Scientology principles. This is somewhat common sense stuff. How very basic common sense principles in Scientology are used to attract people, in this case, in a business consulting setting. But when you go into a Scientology organization for the first time, one of the first introductory courses that you're usually pushed to do is, it's usually personal values and integrity and overcoming ups and downs in life. Now, the overcoming ups and downs in life course, remember, ups and downs is Scientology's in Scientology, going up and down and succeeding and failing, or happy and depressed. That's a sign of being a potential trouble source, and a potential trouble source is someone who's connected to a suppressive person. So the overcoming ups and downs in life course is very often the first course that somebody, first introductory course, $50 course, takes a few days, first course someone does in Scientology. That course is where they introduce to you the concept of, there are really bad, evil, suppressive people, and they're called suppressive persons. And those people are against anyone getting better. They like to squash everyone. They criticize anything that helps. And those are the super, super bad guys. Okay. And chances are one of your close family members is one of those. I mean, they don't say that right away. Then they go, there's something called a potential trouble source. And potential trouble sources are people who are easily manipulated, and they're easily influenced by suppressive people. And people like this who are connected to a suppressive person will start to sort of act like the suppressive person, but they're not really suppressive. And anyone in life who reads stuff like this is going to go, oh yeah, I know someone like that. Oh yeah, that person was always, this or that to me. And you read about a suppressive person and you're like, oh yeah, I know someone like that. Or, the perfect examples of a suppressive person would be like, someone like a Hitler and stuff like that. But when you read these basic fundamental concepts, it's very easy to correlate those concepts to real world things that are affecting your life in one way or another. You put that into a business consulting setting where, and also Scientology business consulting front groups target industries where you have private practice owners who are usually make a lot of money, have gone to school for a specialized purpose, but don't have some sort of a business background or a business degree. Okay. So we're talking dentists, chiropractors, veterinarians, physical therapists, financial planners, things like this. These people who, when they start to build a business, very often they're immediately hit with the complications that arise from trying to manage a group of human beings. And so Scientology business consulting comes along and they basically go, hey, everything that's wrong with your business can be fixed and we can help you. We can help you learn about the pitfalls of this and that. We can give you some basic fundamental tools to address this and that. And by the way, most of your problems are caused by very troublesome employees, and we can help you spot those people. And then, and so this video is a really good example of some of the courses of what's covered in some of the courses of these Scientology business consulting groups. I think there's nothing scandalous about this video. I think that's why it's important for people to see it. Many of you probably watched that video and you're like, that makes a lot of sense. Well, that's what happens. And that is true for a lot of these very introductory level services. That's the point. They're supposed to make perfect sense. I mean, if they hit you with Xenu and the body thetans and the implant stations and the between lives areas and the Galactic Confederacy, if they hit you with that shit right out of the gate, nobody would stick around. Instead, they hit you with stuff like this. It's one of the reasons that you will hear public Scientologists, famous Scientologists, celebrity Scientologists describe Scientology as tools to handle life. Have you ever heard that phrase and wondered, what the fuck are they talking? Tools to handle life. What are they talking about? That's not usually how people describe religious things. Tools to handle life. Okay. That's because most Scientologists think about Scientology in a way just like this video. Just information that you can use to improve conditions in life. Okay, so what's the big deal here? Not necessarily a big deal here until And I might have to share this with you a different way. So give me a sec. Guys, my first job out of the Sea Org, when I left the Sea Org, was working for one of these Scientology business consulting front groups. So I know a lot of what I speak of here, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this video. This is the website for Performia Australia. I have already scoured almost every page of this website looking for the dead giveaways that this is actually a Scientology business consulting front group. And these guys have done an excellent job of covering it up. I mean, when I click through all the pages on here, I can see some Scientology buzzwords, but they've done a very, very good job of making this seem like just an actual legitimate business consulting company. I wanted to click through some things here just to, it's a website that looks like it's doing a lot, but in fact does very, very little. It's a lot of content that doesn't tell you very much. That's kind of what you would expect. Everything's sort of a come on. Everything's very, very general. And that's kind of how they want it. They don't want to tell you exactly what they are, exactly who they are, exactly what they do, and exactly how they do it. Because if they did that, you would likely not follow up with them. There's not one word about Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, on this entire website that I have found. But obviously anyone watching that video already knows that this is a Scientology business consulting front group. So anyhow, what I eventually found was this is from xenu-directory.net, Performia and Scientology. These words look awfully small on the screen that you're looking at, but nothing I can do about that, I guess. Okay, so let's see. Critical information on Performia. Performia CIS is a partnership between UMAN's Martin Renault, also written as Martin, which is like a Swedish name, and Vladimir Sidorenko. Martin Renault is the CEO of Performia International Sweden. Okay. Every Hubbard management consultant has to be licensed by World Institute of Scientology Enterprises, or WISE. WISE is an integral part of Scientology, and WISE licensed consultants get money for every new Scientology recruit they are urged to make. Okay. To maximize the number of recruits, WISE distributes a 300-page manual with the lofty and telling title of Consultant's Guide to Bridge Dissemination. Bridge is Scientology speak for Scientology's path. That's fine. Okay. Anyway, this website just goes on to detail the connections between between Martin Renault and Vladimir Sidorenko and Performia and Scientology. And this website does a pretty good job connecting the dots. And so there you go. There's no question that this is a Scientology business consulting front group. And then we go back to the video that has almost 2 million views, broadly disseminated, for something to get that many views. Like, YouTube's been pushing this out. People like the video. People have engaged with the video. They comment on the video, and the video is being circulated by thousands and thousands of people in industries who have no idea that what they're circulating is actual Scientology. Now, someone might go, well, if the information is helpful, who cares if it's Scientology? Well, thinking like that is how WISE consultant, these Scientology WISE business consulting front groups end up getting so many clients who aren't Scientologists, because so many people tell them, if the information is helpful to me, why do I care who it comes from, where it comes from? Why do I care about any of that? That's fine. I could easily give you an argument for why you shouldn't care. But here's why you might care. So I worked for the Scientology business consulting group called Measurable Solutions, located in Clearwater, Florida. When I worked for them, they were exclusively catering to the physical therapy industry, and that's because the co-founder, co-owner of the company was a physical therapist who himself got into Scientology by signing up with one of these Scientology business consulting groups. So the answer for why someone might care is because these business consulting groups exist to get you into Scientology. No matter how good of a job they do convincing you up front when you're paying a massive amount of money for these courses, that's not actually what they exist for. So when my job at the consulting company was to be one of the business consultants. I wasn't one of the sales guys. I'm not the ones who convince people to pay for the courses. I'm the guy who, once people paid for the courses, was responsible for making sure they got it delivered to them and making sure they knew how to implement the information. And to be honest, I was pretty good at it. The way I would explain, even though I wasn't one of the sales guys, sometimes even after people paid for the services, they would come to me and they would still have questions about the Scientology stuff. And I addressed this question by addressing it straight up. The WISE course packs, they have L. Ron Hubbard's name on it, but they do not have the word Scientology on it. And some of the Scientology terminology is still in the course packs, but most of the major Scientology terminology has been removed from those course packs. Now, in my office, in my consulting office, I did have the big, fat, green Scientology volumes on my shelf and would refer to them as needed. But what I would explain to the clients is I said, look, if we were trying to turn you into Scientologists, you'd be studying these green volumes. You're not studying these. Oh, shit. Look, it's doing, let's get some fireworks here. Stream. Yay. Okay. I'd be like, look, if we wanted to teach you Scientology, you'd be studying these big, fat, green volumes. We've taken the information from those volumes. We've repackaged them into these course packs. We've taken as much of the Scientology terminology out of it as possible so that you can learn the information that's in these volumes without having to learn Scientology. So that's why you have these course packs. We're going to do our best to get you to understand the information. But, I said, look, the reason I'm consulting you is because I'm an expert in these policies here. I don't need you to join Scientology. You just need to learn the information that's in these course packs. And they'd be like, sounds good to us. How do we get started? Okay. But behind the scenes, what the owner of the company was telling us consultants at the weekly staff meetings was, we do not care about these people's businesses. We care about getting them onto the bridge. You consultants aren't doing enough to get your clients onto the bridge. You are way too worried about trying to help them with their businesses. You need to figure out how to become more worried with getting them on the bridge. So that's what the owners, there was two owners, Sean Kirk and Jeff Lee. Sean Kirk was the physical therapist and a Scientologist. Jeff Lee was a Scientologist, former staff member, sort of an expert on policy. And the two of them got together and partnered up and created this consulting company. This consulting company absolutely printed cash. This consultant company made so much damn money. The courses that these business owners were paying for in Scientology might have cost $1,000. These guys were paying $10,000 for the same thing. Or, they were paying, these consulting companies make so much more money than even Scientology orgs make. It's really weird. Non-Scientologists will pay more to learn these courses than even Scientologists will. It's very strange. And so what would happen is we would get some clients that were very successful implementing the information, and we get some clients who weren't. And, of course, it's one of these things where if you buy a few courses and it doesn't work well, what you need is the next few courses. And then if it doesn't totally work well, what you need is the next few courses. And if you finish like the first 9 courses, what would happen is, and this really was only more successful when Sean Kirk himself was doing this next part, he would basically have a heart-to-heart, a tough talk with one of these business owners and go, look, I was in the same boat. I used to be in the same boat that you're in now. I signed up with one of these consulting companies and I did some courses and I would implement it and it would help me, but I would hit a plateau. And then I would do some other courses and I would get, learn some new tricks of the trade or whatever. And I would like hit another new plateau, but then I would be stuck. I would feel stuck. And then eventually I was just stuck. And for me, what I realized is that the reason I was stuck was me. I was the problem. I was the one creating some artificial glass ceiling that I wasn't capable myself of breaking through. And then the client would be like, oh my God, how did you fix that? Oh my God, that sounds like me. That sounds like where I'm at. And then Sean would go, that's when I gave Scientology auditing a try. I was like, you know what? I've worked on my business. I've worked on my staff. Maybe I need to work on me. And I gave that Scientology auditing a shot. And that's what really allowed me to go to the next level. I took it to a whole nother level. And that is how the owners of this company viewed their entire business consulting company as just a way to bring people into Scientology. And Wise has, since the 1980s, been the single biggest source of new recruits into Scientology, and the best kind of recruits, because they're rich. Because they're rich, and because their experience with L. Ron Hubbard tech is that tech helped me in my business. And so they've already had a win in Scientology without joining Scientology. And then they get a taste of auditing. Well, I tell you, I hate to break it to you guys, at the very, very lowest introductory levels, people tend to find Scientology auditing very helpful because, again, you're getting auditing about very, very common sense type shit, the type of shit that everyone struggles with: communication, relationships, transgressions. And it's one of these things where at the beginning, a little bit goes a long way. They're not hitting you with Xenu. They're not hitting you with body thetans. They're not hitting you with disconnect from your children, sign a billion-year contract. That's not what Scientology looks like at the introductory levels. It looks more like this. It looks more like that video. It looks more like, oh, I can think with that. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. And that's why Scientology business consulting front groups have been so successful over the years in recruiting people to Scientology. And I just think that this video, I think I might have already closed that video. That video is like 9 years old. I know that animation looked like it must have been made 25, 30 years ago. That video is only 9 years old. But the fact that it has 2 million views is sort of a sign that that type of messaging, trying to reach people at that level, at that very basic, fundamental, common sense level, is what actually works for Scientology. And is the message. Wait, Aaron is a blonde. Oh, I think I saw a message here. Aaron is a blonde in the video. Oh, is that the SP or the PTS in the video? Anyway. So anyway, I just wanted to show that to you, just to raise awareness that this business consulting angle is what is the most successful recruiting tool for Scientology, that it's worked historically. It still works today. And at this day and age, when Scientology has like the worst PR it's ever had, it's getting the worst press it's ever had, it's got the most people speaking out than ever before, I expect that Scientology would be leaning even more heavily into the business consulting recruiting angle. So I figured, why not? What a good example, a good reason to show you guys this video, to show you guys how much reach this video accomplished, and help people become aware of this. Help people become aware of this, guys. If you know, this is a good little experiment, guys. If you know any dentist at all, dentist and chiropractor. For now, I'll stick with dentists and chiropractors. Scientologists recently have started to go after veterinarians, financial planners. I know I'm missing a good one. Guys in the live chat, what if anyone can think of other sectors, other business sectors that Scientology has really started to target recently? Historically, though, guys, it's been dentists and chiropractors. I swear to God, Scientology's probably made $1 billion off of dentists and chiropractors. So, guys, if you know a dentist or a chiropractor or a physical therapist, actually, because they've been going hard on physical therapy for the last 15 years. If you know, just in your normal life, a dentist, a chiropractor, or a physical therapist, ask them if they've ever been contacted by a business consulting group out of Clearwater or Los Angeles. And if they say yes, see if they can remember the name. I promise you, it's a Scientology business consulting front group. There's so many of them. They're everywhere in these industries. So anyway, the more people in those industries become aware that these business consulting groups are really just predatory Scientology recruiting fronts, the harder it will be for Scientology to get their hooks into these guys. Okay, let's see. I got a few super chats here. Ugh, Aaron, what are you making us watch? I know it's pretty corny, it's pretty cheesy, but It works, Diana. It works. Jana NH. Does Scientology still set up tents to do touch assists? Yes, they do. They absolutely do. If they have been less easy to spot the last few years, it's because Scientologists are incredibly paranoid about the coronavirus. But they are out in full force now. I mean, in the chat that I did earlier today with Reese, she said that, and she's in the Kansas City area. Her husband and her son are going to like a scouting convention, and there's a Scientology tent there. There's a Scientology tent there. So the Scientologists are back out in force at these events and shit, setting up tents and selling books and doing assists and all that stuff. Destiny Salazar. How can consulting firms sell Scientology services, get away with circumventing the organization? Would that be considered squirrel behavior? Excellent question, Destiny. These consulting groups are licensed by Scientology to sell these course packs. They give 10 or 15% of everything they make directly to Scientology as a licensing fee or a royalty, one or the other. I don't know the difference, you guys. And that's why Scientology loves wise consulting groups. Not only do the wise consulting companies themselves generate money directly to Scientology, but because Scientology knows that the owners of those businesses are making buku bucks by selling L. Ron Hubbard, you better believe the Scientology registrars milk those business owners dry for millions of dollars of donations, because it's like they're hostages. The owners of those companies are hostages. If they piss off Scientology, Scientology just yanks their license to deliver those services, and all of a sudden this cash cow goes to the slaughterhouse. So yeah. Also, Destiny, these consulting companies are not allowed to promote and market or sign up as a client anyone who's already a Scientologist, because anyone who's already a Scientologist is supposed to be studying those courses at their local Scientology organization. These consulting companies are only allowed to sign up non-Scientologists. That's why they're so effective at getting people into Scientology, because they're not allowed to cannibalize the Scientology community. Excellent question. Thank you for that, Destiny. Lisa Hennessy. Hi, Aaron. Is there a chance that David Miscavige will try to use artificial intelligence to write OT 9 and 10? He could feed in Hubbard's writings and ask it to write something similar. Lisa, that is a brilliant idea. And if David Miscavige was smart, he would at least do something like this to at least start planting seeds or getting some ideas or putting some loose plan together for what OT 9 and 10 could be. Because I do not think David Miscavige will be able to keep his house of cards standing forever without coming up with something to call OT 9 and 10. Excellent question. Thank you. Kazri of Hakati.com, one of my favorite names. Zero diversity in the video. All white men, just like Scientology. Very true. By actual statistics, and I have the statistics because I ran for Clearwater City Council and I got access to all the voter databases and everything. And I pulled the list of every registered voter at every single Scientology address anywhere in Clearwater. And the voter information has ethnic information. What's the word? Not just, I mean, ethnicity information. By actual statistics, less than 2% of Sea Org members are people of color. Isn't that incredible? I mean, even the United States, I believe the percent of African American to the entire population of the United States is like 13%. I could have it wrong, but it's not less than 13%. In the Sea Org, less than 2%. Thank you for that, Kazri. My good friend Yak Mayhoff. Always good to see you, Yak. I searched for you on Facebook to send a link to 60 Minutes Australia a few weeks back. Now my Facebook has blown up with Scientology ads saying anything I've heard from them is wrong and I need to come to the source. That's great. I'm actually going to be doing a video about that 60 Minutes Australia episode. I've been meaning to. I just have so many other things that pop up as quicker, faster, easier things to do videos about. But I'm going to be doing a video about that 60 Minutes Australia. And yeah, that Facebook algorithm, that'll get you every time. That's how they get you. Thank you for that. yak. VES, thank you for that. Okay, VES again. Read from my email about my early 90s work with Sterling. Sterling Management is one of the business consulting companies. Read my email from my early 90s work with Sterling to church. Very relevant. Without doxing me, please. I will do my best, VES. Can you do me a favor and send it to me again? I have officially entered the era of my life where I'm getting more emails than I can actually deal with. Um, it's probably safe to say that I read, or I at least see or read every email that I get, but I can't even respond to all of the ones that warrant responses, not to mention the ones that are hitting my spam folder. I don't even have time to go look and make sure good stuff's not hitting my spam folder. So VES, if you can shoot that to me again, I would really, really appreciate that. Very good, everyone. Okay, so let's leave this at already 30 minutes. That's longer than I wanted to make this one. I've got another one coming up in the next 10 or 15 minutes, and it's going to be about the Lewis Rossman video. Scientology. Anyway, more to come in about 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you for watching, guys. Thanks everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you very, very shortly.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.